What's up everybody, and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a good friend of mine's new 2016 Mercedes Benz AMG GTS. Now, he owns Shinka Detailing. I'll have it linked down below. This car is covered in a full Dyno Matte paint protection film, and the roof has a carbon fiber paint protection film as well, which is incredible looking in person. It looks so real. But check them out if you want your car to look like this. Take a look. So the AMG GTS, on the used market like this, you can buy one of these in the mid $70,000 price range, which is mind-blowing. When you look at brand new sports cars, a Toyota Supra is 60 grand, a Nismo Z is 65 grand, a Dark Horse Mustang is 70 grand. How in the world is what used to be $150,000 supercar now not too much more expensive than a typical sports car? So this has got to be one of the best bang for the buck supercars in today's world, and given the powertrain, this is basically an exotic muscle car. So let's get right into the AMG GTS, probably one of the coolest modern classic exotics that you can now buy from the 2010s, and this is going to be one heck of a cool car to take a look at. Underneath the hood of the Mercedes Benz AMG GTS, you're going to find a 4-liter twin turbocharged V8 engine. This pumps out 503 horsepower with 479 pound-feet of torque. It's a hand-built motor with top-mounted turbos. This engine's paired to a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. It's also rear-wheel drive. Curb weight comes in around 3,700 pounds, and it runs on a 17-gallon fuel tank. You can also expect 16 miles per gallon in the city with 22 out on the highway, and then 0 to 60 is 3.5 seconds. Quarter mile time is 11.6 seconds at 124 miles an hour, and the supercar can top out at 193 miles an hour. Moving on to the styling with the AMG GTS, hard to believe that this design is about a decade old. This car looks like it just rolled off the showroom floor. So in conjunction with the STEK Dyno Matte PPF, we also have the Dyno Storm headlight protection, which is a slightly smoked out tint. So this car of course has been fully protected, but with the headlights, nice LED design, gorgeous look with a super aggressive flare. You can see how the front fender leads upwards from them. We have openings all down below and throughout the center grille to provide massive amounts of cooling to the 8-cylinder. Got all of your Mercedes badge, genuine carbon fiber front lip, and then gloss black for the mesh. This is certainly one heck of a good looking car. I don't think this will ever look old, aging timelessly. You have the massive front engine with this huge hood, just giving it that AMG low slung appearance. You can see sharp lines throughout the hood, fading towards the windshield, heat extraction vents on the upper portion, and then at the side, this front fender is huge. The hood is just massive, so much different than other types of supercars that are mid-engine. However, the engine is mid-mounted behind that front axle. We got the V8 bi-turbo logo on this front fender as well, and the overall side profile is stunning. Just an extremely low-slung supercar with a very cool look. We do have carbon fiber mirror caps with LED turn signals, and the roof, this is the carbon fiber paint protection film. It looks 100% realistic. I have never seen a carbon fiber like that. That is so cool to see how it matches the genuine carbon absolutely perfect. You can see the matte finish throughout the side with all the paint protection film, and then the rear end just slopes downwards. We do have the active rear wing, your GTS badge, Mercedes logo, and AMG all blacked out, and then a nice set of LED taillights. In back, you got the massive exhaust tips rear diffuser, and it certainly comes together with a unique style. You're also going to notice these 6-piston brake calipers up front with 2-piece ventilated and drilled rotors. We have 19-inch wheels up front, and you do have a staggered setup with 20s in back. You can see the satin black design for the multi-spoke, and then the polished lip with AMG. If we move to the interior, grabbing the door handle with a little bit of chrome trim, this one has a really unique spec. So we got a 2-tone interior with the black, as well as this very light colored leather, and then there's alcantara on the steering wheel and the entire headliner. And again, for the money, this interior looks absolutely stunning. So all genuine leather throughout it, nice contrast stitching, a little bit of storage down below. Here's typical controls, Burmester audio along with that release handle. You have some power controls all along the seat, AMG badge, and massive bolsters. Just a really cool look. Got some silver trim, and then more of this leather and silver all throughout. Onto the interior with the AMG GTS. Keeping my foot on the brake. Start button is right here. It's fired up. For the gauge cluster, very traditional style with your tach on the right with engine temperature, and then your speedometer and fuel, and you still get a nice small LCD screen right in the center. You can configure it just a little bit. You have your digital speed readout. A few more things of information will all be cycled through the center. Back button, home screen, navigation can pop up in here as well. So still get a lot of nice fancy technology that a modern car is going to have. Paddle shifters to control the transmission, and then you can see just the nice design for the steering wheel with AMG. Nice silver design for the up and downshift paddles, and then your typical stock on the left side. Headlight controls on the left, full leather dashboard, and the older style, of course, for the infotainment screen, which is all controlled throughout the center. We have the touchpad and then the rotary dial as well. And then I like how you do have the physical climate controls down below, which make it really easy just to operate a few different things. You're also going to notice the big silver bezel for the center. And then looking at all the controls in the center, up top we have our drive select. So you can just toggle this left and right, going into all the different modes. I do like how you're going to get depictions just like in newer cars. So you can see how everything changes in all of your different drive modes and all sorts of different parts of the car that are going to change. So really cool to see that in this. You also have traction control, suspension settings if you want to tighten it or stiffen it up. And then on the far right, we have volume, your manual select, start, stop, and then the exhaust valve you can open and close. Shifter's in a little bit of an awkward place. You got to reach really far back to go into everything. However, this does have a backup camera. So pretty nice graphics on it. You have a good view around. And then from here, you have storage right here along with 2 cup holders. And then your heated seats icons are actually up on the ceiling. So pretty unique design. Then we also have that button right there for the active rear wing that will pop upwards. To move on to the trunk, you have a button on the key fob. Just go ahead and hold in that. The trunk will pop, and then we can just manually lift it up. This has a lot of storage, for being more on the supercar style. It is a huge area in here. You can see lunchbox, camera bag, and water bottle. Honestly, you can fit 2 golf bags in here pretty easily. There's even a spot right here with a privacy cover that will be a really good touch to have. But overall, pretty practical car too for a daily driver. Go ahead and close that, and then one last look with the wing in its upwards position. I don't think there's a bad angle with this car. Interior and exterior really complement each other very well. All right, so setting off in the AMG GTS, just in comfort mode, I do like how even for the age of the vehicle, we have the cool gauges in the center screen with the torque, all that good stuff in the center, your boost gauge, temperatures, things like that. This is a super cool car, honestly, especially when you take into consideration the pricing. I mean, it makes modern cars look too expensive. I feel like obviously inflation has been crazy in the last 4 years. It's been awful with how expensive things are getting. And when you look at the used, the modern classics, I guess this is kind of in that category now, the 20 teens, like supercars of 10 years ago. They're becoming bargains, honestly. You can buy an Audi R8, a Cayman GTS like this for well under 100. That is just mind-blowing when it's just the competition that isn't even remotely the same as this car is not much different in price. So this is one heck of a car for the money. Driving it, it feels more shrunken around me than I was expecting. The hood is very long. However, I can see so much of it to where it doesn't feel like it's just this huge thing in front of me. It's not like a Dodge Viper, even though the exterior kind of looks like that. The mirrors are really close to you on the side. You're sitting not too low. I mean, it's not nearly as low as my Gallardo. I love how the dashboard is short too, so it kind of makes you feel like you're in a little cocoon. This A-pillar is very prominent right there, so that is one thing you got to get used to. You can almost look forward through the side window, so a little bit different to get used to that. Visibility overall though, fantastic. Like, this is truly an easy car to just get used to. So in comfort mode, normal everything, it's really not all too difficult to get used to. Steering is super light, I mean, just effortless. The suspension is on the stiffer side. I mean, you can tell this car is a race car performance machine. Let's see what happens if I toggle this. So we have suspension for Sport, Sport Plus, and then Comfort. So cool to see where you can just toggle suspension as well. But if we play with some of the drive modes, going into Sport mode now, if I hit the paddle, definitely sharpens up the car a little bit. Man, that was like the littlest rev ever. You can already feel there is so much power. Oh, and those brakes. brakes do a good job. Hitting that bump, wow, that suspension is significantly stiffer. But this car's precision already, just barely touching the gas, is starting to feel just like something else. And again, when you look at the pricing, the fact that this is only 10 to 20 grand more than the Supras and top-of-line Mustangs and Nissan Zs, I don't know, I am getting more and more into just buying older supercars than modern sports cars, because you get a true, very expensive car for not crazy. So now into the Sport Plus. This is where the car wakes up. The owner of this car says that's where he drives it. So we have the valve open on the exhaust, sounding a lot louder. Man, that sounds good. That transmission is so lightning quick, and that was just touching the throttle. Let's hear it a little bit as we pass these barriers. Wow. The delivery of power is so seamless too, and especially given the turbos are mounted up top, there's no turbo lag. So Mercedes has really done a cool job with this engine. And I know Mercedes of the past, you know, the V8 was always a big thing. Not everyone liked it when it went to twin turbo. I'm a huge fan of it because you get even more power, but given you have the hot V style, you're not getting the lag of a turbo engine. So you have instant throttle response, instant turbo power, instant gear changes as well. So turning around to my honest thoughts now, I am thoroughly impressed with the car, honestly. I haven't really driven it hard just yet, so we'll get on it a little bit more. It's really cool just to see a car like this to where it still feels like a modern car. It still feels like you have everything you would want in a supercar. The engine start-stop, that is hilarious to see in a car like this. So going into the Sport Plus mode, manual mode, it sounds nasty, sounds so good. Nice too. It's not too crazy fast to where, I mean, I'm sure you could definitely get this tail happy out from under you, but it's very well balanced with how it handles, how it brakes, how it accelerates. It doesn't feel too fast, and you know, I'm not even in race mode. It's a little chilly out. Don't want to go too crazy with it, but it just seems so well balanced. Oh man, the steering, wouldn't mind it being heavier, but it is so direct. Like right there, just like being able to handle like that and accelerate. This kind of reminds me of my old automatic Toyota Supra. It's kind of a similar layout, just way bigger in terms of performance, quality, all that stuff. And the fact that on the used market, one of these, you know, 15 grand, 20 grand more, what a bargain. This is something else. It is a interesting car because I don't think there's quite anything like this. You know, an Audi R8 you can buy for the same price. Not nearly as fast, not quite as practical, maybe more exotic looking given it's a mid-engine car. My brother owns one, loves it. My friend's got a Cayman GTS, definitely a smaller car, more practical with 2 trunks, manual transmission availability, same with the R8. So like, each car kind of caters to a different interest. This car gives you the luxury for sure, but I think this car is misleading. From the outside, I figured this would be like a Viper, just a massive hood and just kind of a heavy feeling car. I don't get that at all. Driving this car, it feels light, it feels nimble, it feels so tossable to where you can just rip through the turns. You have so much power, faster than I would say the other cars that are going to compete with this on the used market. This is something else. So race mode is going to get a little bit more aggressive. Traction goes into the sport mode. It sounds insane. Man, this is something for sure to look at, just because when you do then tone it down into comfort mode, it becomes a nice normal Mercedes where you don't have to really think about being in you know, on that exotic level. It's not an exotic car now. It's just kind of a normal, comfortable Mercedes. It is on the smaller side in here, given the seat. You can't go that far back, that recline, because you have this bulkhead right behind you. But the car, you know, it's comfortable to sit in. It's easy to drive when you're driving slow, and you can use it like your normal car, which is really cool. It's easy to drive, really nothing all too hard. And of course, I love with cars, flip of a dial, and you're into a supercar. Like, man, there's not many cars like this. But check out Shinka Detailing down below. This car looks stunning. The paint protection film, the carbon, all of it looks absolutely amazing. Check them out, links down below. Big shout out to them for letting me play with this car for today's video. We'll do one last acceleration, because how can you not? Oh, this is something to look at. I would love owning one of these. I'll see you guys in the next video.